Hey there, friends and enemies, JoPa here again, and today I want to go over 5 of my biggest hot takes in gaming. And if you've been following me or the channel for any length of time, you know that I tend to have some controversial opinions and those that might run counter to the most popular opinions as well. So if you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. I might make this a series, and also if you have your own hot takes, let me know down below, because I will definitely be checking those out, replying to them, and maybe making a video on those as well. But anyway, jumping into it, my first one is that pre-ordering video games is a good thing. Now, I don't think you should fully pre-order every single game that pops up. It's easy to get carried away with the hype, but you need to learn to understand what games are going to be for you. I have never once regretted pre-ordering a video game ever. And I've ordered some that a lot of people really didn't enjoy, like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, Marvel's Avengers. But I personally got my money's worth and my time's worth with those games because I knew, despite the popular opinion, I would personally enjoy them. So I don't pre-order every single game. I don't pre-order any game that I see that fits the genre. I look at some of the information that we have, I take a look at trailers and gameplay, and I just determine whether or not that game is going to be one that I will enjoy. And if I do think that, I will pre-order, I will get some of those bonuses. I will also make sure that I'm locked in day one, and this in turn helps the game and the studio in order to project how many sales they'll have and also understand where they're at as far as marketing goes as well. And this is very important as we're seeing new games drop, and it allows these studios to get a firm understanding of what kind of reception they can expect. And so while I don't think every game should be pre-ordered, and I understand those who have been bitten by pre-orders like Cyberpunk, which was bad at launch, ultimately that game turned it around to such a massive degree that I can't see anyone who actually pre-ordered that would regret it in the long run, even though it was a lot of pain points early on. Anyway, my next one is that gamers overvalue minor details. Far too many times I will see videos made or comments made of people talking about the way the water ripples, the way the grass blows and sways in the wind. And yes, those attention to detail moments can be very nice, and ultimately they will add a level of immersion that takes the game to the next level. But I don't think they're necessary to enjoy a game. There's a lot of very simple games that don't have all of that are still very fun, very enjoyable, and don't really need all of that. Plus, a lot of it will depend on the type of game you're playing. For example, a game like Skyrim or any other Elder Scroll game where you can interact with so much of the environment also will come with a lot of jankiness, a lot of issues with that, because that's just how many moving parts there are. It makes it very difficult to them have everything be perfect while also make everything interactable. So I do feel like game companies, studios should absolutely lean into what they're going for. If they want a hyper-realistic, stunning-looking game, then it's going to feel more like a movie at times, where if they want something a bit more interactable, sometimes that's going to come with some flaws and some jank, and that's okay. I don't think games have to be perfect to be enjoyable. A lot of people love those slasher films that are really low budget, and I'm a big fan of single and double A games that are not necessarily the highest value, and these companies that don't have massive billion-dollar budgets don't ultimately have the resources to go over every single detail that we might want in the game. So some of that can absolutely be overlooked, and I want them to spend the time doing the things that are going to allow for the most enjoyment rather than going over minor details that the majority of people will miss anyway. Next up, I believe that content creator and game review sites getting early access absolutely kills the surprise for many games. And this is something that is incredibly frustrated. I am obviously a smaller channel. I don't get early access to stuff, but I would feel the same way even if I was getting early review copies. I feel like when they are making reviews, that's fine. But the problem is, when the game launches, a lot of these websites, a lot of these YouTube channels and everything will have 100 videos already lined up. So if you're a content creator starting day one, you're already late to the party. And then if you are also looking for secrets, it's going to take you that much longer in order to find them. But the same thing goes for players who aren't content creators. Those who want to find out what to do will have all that information right at the tip of their fingers from day one. And that's, I think, something that is missing from the golden generation of games, as people call it. I believe we're currently in the golden generation, but a lot of people look at back in the day as it being way better. And a big part of that is there wasn't a popular consensus on what to do, how to beat things, what weapons to use, what the meta is, all of that kind of good stuff. And because of that, it just felt like games were a bit more random, which I feel like is a good thing. It feels like the games are more interactive. Sometimes today you'll be playing a game, a PvP game, a PvE game, doesn't really matter, and they will kind of feel the same from moment to moment because people tend to use the same thing, or honestly, everything that you're looking for has already been found. I feel like having these videos come out over the course of the first weeks or months of a game's release is much better than having a ton of them dropping day one, and then everyone who wants to speed blitz the game can do so, and now all of a sudden there are complaints because the game is too short, there's not enough content to do, but you didn't search for it yourself. If you would have spent the time looking for everything and discovering the secrets, it would have taken you twice as long, and you would have enjoyed the route on the way and then not been spent half your time looking up guides and stuff. And this is especially true, like I said, for content creators who are behind the curve. You don't necessarily have everything right up front, so now you have to sometimes look up those guides in order to play catch up, and it's really unfortunate. Next up is that free to play is a positive and a negative, but it is the way forward for most PvP games going in the future, and I think because of that we are going to see certain aspects of PvP games completely lost to time, and that's very, very unfortunate to me. Now, I think free to play is good for several reasons, right? You get more players jumping into the game. You have more access to people who might not otherwise have been wanting to check it out. There's a lot more people on a game at any given time, so the servers are healthier, the queue times are lower, all of that kind of good stuff. However, free-to-play games have absolutely spiked the number of cheaters that you see in a game. They also have a lot more people who don't care about their accounts getting banned. So they will say or do whatever they want. They will grief, they will throw, they will create multiple alt accounts, and it doesn't matter because there's nothing at stake. The other biggest issue that I personally have is there's not a whole lot of earnable cosmetics in the game, and that's something that we used to get in a lot of paid PvP games that I was always a big fan of. You look at Call of Duty Mastery camos, for example. I think the Mastery camo chase is a very fun one for the COD community, but a lot of other games won't have something similar because they have to get their most expensive cosmetics to be paid instead of, or the best cosmetics paid instead of earnable in game. And now Call of Duty obviously does that as well with their tracer bundles, but that's just Activision and Blizzard being quite greedy at the end of the day. But if a game could come out and have their best cosmetics be earnable, so that way you can show it off to whoever you're playing against, I did this insane achievement and I earned this cool, unique item and appearance and all that kind of good stuff. That's something that I think is missing from games. Yeah, you can show off your rank, you can show off your highest rank awards, but not everyone likes to play ranked, and I don't think ranked should be the end-all, be-all. If you have long-term goals to chase in a game, there should be other options, in my opinion. And the last one, and this is going to be probably the most controversial one that a lot of people disagree with, people say that games are way better now, are way better from back in the day than they are now, and I wholeheartedly disagree with that statement. Games now are better than ever. We have so many more options. Steam alone, you get dozens and dozens of releases every single day. And not only that, but you get games on every platform all the time. Yes, there's some problems with some of them. Yes, some of the AAA games take years and years to come out, so maybe you don't get as many of those, but there's so many elite double A and single A and indie games that are coming out at any given time. This year alone, we got Clair Obscur, we got The Blueprints, we've gotten Balatro recently, and so many unique ideas that I feel like are enhanced compared to what we got back in the day. There's more options to make way more types of games than ever before. And that lends itself to the gaming just being more mainstream now than it's ever been. We've got more gamers than we did back in the day. It used to be more niche. When I was younger, a lot of people would play only as kids, and then once they got older, they would stop playing. Maybe they would play once a week with their friends, but that's about it. Nowadays, gaming is mainstream, and with that has come some pros and cons, but ultimately, the games now are excellent. There are so many really, really good ones. And if you're not playing one that you enjoy, then you need to look at yourself and also the genres that you're playing and try to find one that you might find more fulfillment with. And I think this definitely applies to people who play the same types of games all the time. They play sports games, they play COD games, and they don't realize that part of the reason they don't like those games is, one, they don't really change as much from year to year, so it feels like you're playing the same thing over and over and over again, and that's all you're playing, and eventually you're going to lose the love for that thing. And then the other problem is ultimately going to be that those games, those studios that make those types of games, the FIFAs, the Call of Duty, you've got stuff like NBA 2K, they understand they have a cash cow. So they are not going to innovate. They're not going to do anything too insane because they know they don't want to disrupt what's working for them, what's generating all this revenue. And so at the end of the day, that part is probably on the gamers who continue to buy those games year after year, despite a lot of vocal complaints. They will get it nonetheless. And that's something that I think people just need to understand when they are purchasing these games. That, yeah, these games are not the ones that are meant to be replayed forever. If you no longer enjoy your favorite franchise, it's okay to move on and find something else that you are going to enjoy instead. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Like the video as always, comment, subscribe, have a good one, and I'll catch you all later.